morning, Raj.
Morning.
So, let's start with this September CEO Speaks. The topic is the Indian SaaS industry. So, the software as a service entered India only over a decade ago, and it was only for overseas clients. And it was only within the past few years where Indian corporates started using SaaS at home for business functioning. And now companies with large teams are using it for their business operations. So, software as a service is becoming a global phenomenon, and Indian industry in particular has the opportunity to take it to the next level. So, let's start with some of the questions about the software as a service industry in India. So, the first question is, what are the factors which you believe contributed to the explosion of the Indian SaaS industry?
I think it's not the SaaS industry itself is really only maybe like 10, 10 years old, right? Totally. I think basically what's happening is that there is few companies who are emerging in SaaS, uh, but it's um, but many companies actually who've been even before the SaaS are realigning themselves to SaaS, right? Um, and companies emerging and realigning to SaaS are significantly seeing the benefits because see it's the same thing, right? Like basically the why the SaaS happened really. The SaaS happened is that from a SaaS point of view, SaaS as a solution is a very in a simplistic way. It's a subscription model, right? You pay as you go. You only pay for what you use, however long you use. You don't pay by it, right? So that you don't you don't buy it and keep it and like you pay for what you are not using, and you are also not like down the road for whatever reason you don't want to pay use it, and you lost the money, you don't have that. So the reservation to buy that concern the thought process, right? Like whatever is the inhibition and the slow process and the capital cost, everything is gone. So people are more easy and jumping. It's easy experience to work with a SaaS from a cost perspective. So that is the major advantage, and that's why more and more companies are using SaaS. The companies why they are able to do SaaS is originally when they have to have a software buy and all that stuff. Uh, the capital cost of developing was very high from infrastructure and all that stuff. With the cloud, the cost of building a software and also cost of operating a software is significantly cheaper. So the companies, the SaaS companies are there are more SaaS companies who are able to emerge. So the technology and the platform and the industry matured. So the companies are able to develop software in a much cost effective way, in a much faster way. That is why now what they are able to do is that they are able to even kind of operate in a SaaS kind of model. So that is the advantage that they have, and that has immensely helped them. So that's why SaaS is taking off. Like it is beneficial for the companies, and it is beneficial, most important, for the customers too.
I see. So you're saying that the reason why SaaS took off the way it did, in spite of the very high cost, is because cloud, like when cloud technology started gaining traction, SaaS followed because because cloud greatly reduces the overhead cost of adopting a software as a service model. Is
Correct.
that correct?
That's right. So cloud also brought the culture, right? Cloud brought the culture of infrastructure as a service, right? So infrastructure cloud is like you don't buy anything infrastructure. The moment the infrastructure as a service was came in, immediately it opened the doors for software as a service, because the moment as service started, then everything became as service, right? So that is and then there is advantages, right? For the as service companies to go, they don't need to go build a data center, get an office infrastructure. All that capital cost has gone down. They just can go and develop it in a AWS cloud or a Microsoft cloud. So the cost of development for them is also easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like we discussed in a previous episode about AWS, when one of the major benefits is, as you said, you only pay for what you need, and maintenance costs are significantly cut.
That's right.
So it looks like SaaS just needed something else to come with it that would reduce the overhead cost. Otherwise, without cloud, it would have been very difficult for SaaS to explode the way it did. So
Exactly. Yes, yes. It is with it is two things, right? It is cloud and also the open source, right? All that stuff. So that definitely also helped because more open source tools were there underlying and the development of many different technology and platform. So definitely that helped opened up the market for all these companies to developers with an idea to go and develop their idea in a very low cost way. Before, the barrier of setting up a software company was very high. The barrier has been removed. That so now more and more are able to innovate.
that's why in the last 5 to 6 years, we've been seeing so many IT startups in India in particular.
Yep, yep.
So SaaS, it's clear, is a phenomenon everywhere. But how does the Indian SaaS industry stand out compared to the rest of the world if people are talking about it so much?
I think it's a really right. The Indian, I think the Indian, uh, the technology developers, right? India always had the developer pool, right? Very big developer pool. So we've been in IT industry for good 30 years, right? And then what happened is that all these developers, all they had the ideas and all that stuff, but they did not have a right infrastructure for them to start up a company, right? The capital cost per se, or the funding, venture funding per se, all that took a time. So come to 2000 and 2010, right? From 2010, we had the infrastructure, we had the people with the capability, with experience, and then we had the VC, all that coming in. So it was a perfect. So now you see India from 2010. So it took what we did, like we were building up from 1980s, let's say 1990s. Really, it needed that 20 years of maturity, and then that is what we saw in 2010, and slowly it's just the tipping beginning we are there. You see from 2020 and then 2030 it will be even accelerating further. So it's we are just beginning to see the all this startup, all this coming. You will see more and more of this to come because people are more knowledgeable, they have more tools and techniques to access that knowledge, they have more ways to collaborate, people to come together with ideas, and then there are funding available, and the cost barrier is very low.
I see. So you would say, like, with the reason why the Indian industry stands out is because in spite of not having as sophisticated of an infrastructure and technology as most developed countries, we have the talent and manpower.
Yes, yes, the talent and manpower is there. And also, what also helps is country like India is that we have the marketplace. We have our own marketplace. It's a big enough marketplace. And also, from a overall process and a automation point of view, we are low, right? We are very much. And it is also, it has to be for Indian culture, right? It has to be Indianized. So that is why you see, yes, there is so international companies like Amazon and international companies like Uber are going to come, but there is also going to be some local innovations, right? It's going to be Oyo, Ola, Paytm, like local innovations are also going to happen, which needs to take which the local culture, local economy, and local demography into consideration. So you will see more and more of this, and we have a lot, right? Basically, because we are still a developing nation. When a country of size of India moves from a developing nation to a developed nation, There is so many things that needs to happen. So we need we need 1,000 more innovations like this, because we need to make we need to improve things in a commodity, so many different angle. So innovation coming in, startups coming in all these ways, making it more efficient, will definitely help. So I would see, like for example, company like us, I'm glad to have a tool like Zoho, right? We run our business completely on Zoho. Most of our operations, from a people operations point of view, when I say business, people operations point of view and all that stuff, we run it on Zoho. So definitely, I'm proud to see company like Zoho, Freshworks. The tools are available for us. We need to tap in. So definitely, I think it will make our business more efficient, more better, higher quality, and all that stuff. So definitely, and I'm sure there are many other things where we can, improve from a security point of view, from a finance point of view, and all that stuff. More and more innovations come, and businesses like us can take advantage. And I'm sure many of those innovations are going to be end consumers.
So you would say that security issues and competition from the international companies would be some of the roadblocks facing the Indian SaaS industry.
No, I don't necessarily think they are roadblocks. I think international companies coming and doing their thing is a good thing, because sometimes some of these projects are big enough. We need international management and capital. So like stuff like Uber, definitely I think it is very, and Amazon, it's international. They need to come. They need to come because they are going to improve the quality of the overall service rendered in the market. So I think competition from international is very good, very important. I think it needs to come in. Security is something we need to deal with, right? The more and more digital, the more and more exposure, right? So we need to get better at it, and something we need to deal with. There is a, like there is nothing, no two ways about it.
So the security is the main issue. The foreign companies coming in actually might motivate our local companies to stay on top of the game, is what you feel.
Of course, that is, of course, we need to, right? Competition is good. We want Indian companies going and competing with the international companies, and we want international companies coming and Indian market and competing. That is how capitalism works. That is how the customers win. End of the day, the customers need to win. Customers win when there is competition.
Absolutely, I agree. So also I would say also from what I see, the pandemic has proved to be actually an opportunity for the Indian SaaS industry, because SaaS in general has exploded with the pandemic because of the shift to everything being more digital based. So would you say that is true?
I think I think the SaaS has not particularly exploded. I think it's always the way, everybody sees the climax, right? What has come, all this we are talking with the IPO of Freshworks and stuff like that. But they did not, Freshworks did not become IPO in 1 year, right? They have been working off it for many years, and Zoho did not become Zoho in last 2 years. They have been working on it. What they have become today is not what as they have done in last 1 year, 2 year. What they are there today is what they have done 5, 10 years back. So I think so all this buzz we are seeing, it's nothing to do with the pandemic, but definitely with the pandemic and the remote working and all that stuff, definitely there is uh, acceleration of digitalization, and that is going to definitely have more impact. Yet to see, some we have seen, more to see. One thing really, if we have to say from a pandemic point of view, from our industry point of view, what we have seen, everybody has seen, is talent. Talent is become a challenging. There is a challenge that every single company, especially talent in technology, working in digital transformation, is become challenging, and we are all dealing with that. So that's that is one thing we are seeing, but I'm sure there are more patterns to this, or sorry, more outcomes of this pandemic. Some are more pronounced by now, some are less pronounced, more to see.
I see. So the explosion of SaaS we are observing only now, but it is the result of the hard work of these companies over the last 5 years or so. And
Yep.
that what the pandemic has brought to the industry is increased digitization, and the new workforce has to deal with that.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
So let's move on to the last question. So what are the so from what you have, so as for insights on how the Indian SaaS industry is going to look in the future, it is going to continue to expand because of the current climate, and from what we can see, we have nowhere to go but up. Is that what you believe?
Yes, I think there will be the future will be vertical SaaS. There won't be generic SaaS. Like for example, there will be like for example a productivity tool, a productivity software or a payroll software for service industry. There will be a SaaS payroll system or ticketing system for manufacturing industry. Within the manufacturing industry, it will be primarily for job, like non-linear manufacturing, right? Something like that. So there will be specialty software. There will be payroll software for construction industry, like that, right? Which is very specific because each and every industry, the nuances are different. What we have been developed doing so far is horizontal SaaS. We have developed a SaaS for the entire industry, and then in the implementation, each and every person has to custom it for their industry, and that is expensive, and that's a cost passed to the customer. What is going to become is customers are going to say, hey, I'm not going to spend that money in implementing. I want a software that comes and works for me immediately for my industry. So that means it's a vertical SaaS. So each and every industry is going to have a SaaS, and that is, and I don't think any one SaaS company can successfully develop a vertical SaaS for all the industry. It's not going to be possible. So you will see lot of vertical SaaS companies popping up for different verticals and servicing their customer. So there is huge amount of opportunity. You will see a lot of them popping up. So I think it's a great time for SaaS.
So you're saying SaaS will become more specialized as time
Yes.
will go by. Like
Yes.
we see that happening with cloud right now. Cloud is starting to become more specialized. So SaaS will eventually go on the same path.
Yes. Like for example, a vertical SaaS, I would say it's for example, it will be there is one SaaS we know because we work in that industry. In pharma industry, we work with a SaaS called Viva. Viva is a CRM only for pharma industry. So it's specialized for that. So it has the terminology, it has the industry specialization for that. So like that. So Salesforce is a CRM, general industry. Viva is built over Salesforce, but for pharma industry. So it's very specialized for pharma industry, like that.
I see. That's very interesting. So basically, the Indian SaaS industry, it's we have the manpower and we are on the way to developing the technology. But there are going to be some security issues and digitization issues that, of course, will come with every industry during the pandemic time. And in the future, SaaS is going to become more and more specialized to the point where having just one software as a service for every industry is not going to work anymore.
Correct. That's true. That's absolutely true.
So that means like software as a service is definitely a career opportunity that new graduates should look into during this time because business appears to be going well.
Yep. Yep. Of course, there will be winners and losers, but that is the nature of startup. But overall, in the bigger picture, there will be more winners.
Absolutely, Raj. And let's hope that other companies who the companies in India that are involved in software as a service will continue to be winners.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
thanks, Raj, for the interesting talk. So next month we will have another episode about a new topic.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day, Raj.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.